It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back to another Up North Journal Minicast.
Something you're going to hear in the next 3 to 10 minutes, and you guessed it, you're not going to hear it on our main show at all, but you're going to hear it right now on this Minicast.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you something on the main show from hunting season.
What did you forget to tell me?
What did we go visit last year at ATA that Mara was so excited about, that a product that she had in her arsenal and wanted us to try?
A product. Oh, because she was awful excited to see Jim Shockey.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Jim Shockey. I didn't take Jim Shockey to Northern Michigan to deer hunt.
Well, at least you clarified product, because I was gonna go. Well, she was awful excited to see Jim Shockey.
Yeah. Well, actually, you got doused in this product.
Yeah, I got sprayed with it thanks to Mara. But nose jammer.
Nose jammer. I took a cue from Mara and I thought, I'm going to try nose jammer.
All right.
So I stopped and got a bottle or a can. Proceeded to head to the woods. First time I used it, I didn't have like deer tracking me.
Right.
Second time I used it, I was set up for my evening hunt. This would have been the day it was really windy. Randy, what day was that?
Saturday.
Was that Saturday?
Yeah,
Saturday. Okay. So Saturday when the front moved through. So pedaled my bike, got into my hunting area, parked the bike, sprayed my boots, the bottom soles of my boots really good, and then sprayed my pant legs.
Right.
And I smelled like vanilla. And I'm like, I sure hope this works because I stink now, because I'm a scent freak.
You smell pretty.
Yeah, I smell pretty.
You do smell pretty. Pretty vanilla.
So I start off, and I'm walking down the 2-track, and then I hit the rye field where I'm normally hunting, and I was pulling trail cam cards at about the same time, and head down to the swamp. And I thought, I haven't done a good old-fashioned, old-style hunt in a long time. I'm just going to go sit in the swamp. So I trudge down through the swamp, get in the middle of it, push down pretty deep. It's wet, and I sit there for a couple hours. Wind's blowing. I'm like, I got to get out of here before a tree falls on me. Made my way out, crossed up through part of our logging, and I zigzagged up through this cut.
Okay.
And we had moved a blind for one of our members who said I could use his blind if need be. I thought, you know what, it's cold. I'm just going to get out of the wind. I'm going to go sit in his blind. Because we've moved this blind for this guy. And I said, I want to see exactly what he can see from the blind. Make sure, number one, that, it's in a good spot. So I get up there and open the windows and I check it out. And I'm watching, and I seen 8 deer that evening. But right towards the end of the day, I had a doe come in off of his rye field from my right coming into the left. And this blind sits right on the 2-track. And I mean, right on it. It's literally 3, 4, 5 feet away from it. The deer's walking down the 2-track, and it gets in front of me, and it just disappears. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like looking around, like, okay, where did this doe go? Don't see it. A couple minutes pass, and so I kind of ease up out of my chair, and I look out the front window, and there she is. And all of a sudden, bam, she's on where I walked across. Didn't think about anything. And like, oh, she's heading over to the swamp, and she's zigzagging. And I'm like, she's following my footprints exactly the way I walked in. I'm like, you're kidding me.
You finally have a follower.
I do have a follower now.
Yes.
A young doe.
You.
But I figure when she got in front of there, she crossed my track where I walked to the stand. She probably walked up to the step where I came
She
up.
probably did.
You know, and then turned around. That was that time frame. And, I mean, she literally, I'm like, okay, now she's going to turn to the right. Yep. And then she's going to turn to the left. Yep. She's going to turn to the right. Yep. She's going to go over that little hill. Yep. And she's going to go right down to, oh my gosh.
She did it.
And it was exactly the track that I took with Nose Jammer. So what we've heard from people, I actually witnessed.
Well, see, I got to try it.
So now, did a big buck come in? No. But the point is,
it worked.
It's an attractant.
It's an attractant.
Curiosity attractant.
Right down to the track you made it.
Yeah.
Track it followed, right?
Well, and Mara said that she used it this year, and the does were coming in, and it was like they were trying to eat her footsteps. They were sniffing on the ground and, trying to
eat it.
Yeah, figure out what it was and eat it. So
wow.
So there you go. There's my report from the field.
Okay, so all right, so yeah, okay, we got a few minutes. So I was, it wasn't with Nose Jammer. It was with a Tinks product.
Okay.
And it was sitting in our cabinet at the cabin. It was a scrape starter, I think is what it was.
Okay.
And I don't know. I was just like, okay. It was in a squirt bottle.
Okay.
So I got it, and I headed out. This was during gun season, and I started. I was in a blind that was closest to one of the closer to the cabin. So as soon as I got down the 2-track, I just started squirting it. Every couple, just freehand squirting. And then when I got to my trail that I needed to follow, I squirted all the way to the blind.
Okay.
And I think I was almost out by then, and I just set it in the blind and sat down. And it's funny you say that because I was sitting there, it was pitch black. And all of a sudden I heard a deer snort off to my right, which is where I came in from. And I didn't think nothing of it. And I'm like, oh, it's pretty dark out here, folks.
Yeah.
I don't know what you can see, but I can't see nothing right now.
Right.
And a few minutes later, I heard this deep inhale. Like,
he's getting a nostril full.
And it was so close, but it was pitch black. It was like right behind me. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, okay. And then he snorted, and I heard it snort. I can't tell if he was a buck or a doe. But I heard it bound off, but it only took like 2 bounds. And it stopped. And I'm like, okay, it's still pretty dark here. All right. All of a sudden, out of my left, I catch this gray body. I could just barely make out. And I was like, okay, you're going to come through this window. And I got my binoculars up, and it never made it. Okay. So I don't know where it went.
Okay.
But as far as scents going, yeah, that was just a random thing I did off the top of my head. And like you said, it was like it's something I never did before, but it was like, maybe try that again.
Yeah, you try something different. Something to mix it up, throw a little something else in the bag of tricks just to see what kind of reaction you get or
exactly
how they react to it and does it work, does it not work? I mean, we've heard the stories. I mean, everybody's heard stories about tinks, and that stuff that does. So.
I had 2 does. I had the scrape dripper.
Mm-hmm.
I put it out. I filled it up, set it out. I had 2 does walk up to that and both sniff it. They didn't get freaked out. They came towards me and they both sniffed it and they just continued on to where they were going. So it wasn't an alarming scent that they were picking up, but
curiosity.
Yeah, they just kept on moving.
All right. So you're having some thoughts about trying something? Give you one of them products to try and see if it shakes up your game out in the field.
And if there's something that you do out in the field, and,
let us know.
Let us know
yeah.
if you want to let us know. If it's a trademark, private secret, don't. But, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that'll do it for this minicast. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.